Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be working on changing over my kids' clothes from their winter stuff and getting their spring stuff out of the attic and putting it into their closets. So as I do this, I like to weed out anything that they've outgrown. So I will bring down their spring stuff that they wore last year because a lot of times they can wear it for a couple years, but my oldest daughter has been growing recently. So I'm going to probably have to have her try on a few things, and then whatever doesn't fit her, I can hand down to her little sister. This is the current situation in her closet. There are two racks. There's one behind this that has dresses and leotards on it. This one has her t-shirts and stuff that we hang up, but it is way too crowded. We're going to take these out and go through them all, see what stays and what goes. These are all the clothes that were in her closet. I've now gotten them all out, and then we'll start to go through these. Tip number 1 is to go through clothes every season. Even if you don't live in a place that has the typical 4 seasons, I still recommend going through their clothes every 3 to 4 months or so because they grow so fast. Their bodies are changing, their body shape changes, so things fit them differently. It's a good time to go through and weed out things that they have outgrown and things that are for different seasons and to make and rotate for the next season coming up. So right now we're taking all the winter stuff out of my kids' rooms. That stuff will go up into the attic, into the storage bins, and I will save it so that they can wear them next year. Then all of the spring stuff will come out. I will have them check, see if it fits, and then we'll put that stuff in their rooms. I just had her go through all her dresses and her leotards on the second shelf, and she passed down a lot of them to her sister because she either had outgrown them or they were just a little bit too young for her now. So there's a lot more space on the second bar. Now I'm going to start putting back the shirts that she picked out on the first bar. Tip number 2 is to keep their favorites first. Get your kids involved in this process and have them pick out their favorite things, the things that they love to wear all the time. Make sure that those things are kept and have a space first before you start putting anything else back. So we're focusing on keeping our favorites and not just getting rid of a bunch of stuff. So what are their favorites? What are their go-tos? As my kids have gotten older, their favorite pants are just black leggings because they go with everything. They're classic. You can't go wrong. They match every top that they have. So over time, I have stopped buying different colored pants with different patterns and floral designs or characters or anything on them because they only match maybe 1 or 2 tops. So I have all of these pants that only go with a few different things. By having just basic solid colors, you can mix and match with more things in their closet. But I understand if your kids are younger, especially when my kids were really little and they were toddlers, they had adorable outfits with all different patterns and cute colors. So I mean, if it works for you and if you have the space, keep their favorites first. Tip number 3 is to know their preferences. Do they prefer a certain color, like I mentioned? Do they prefer a certain texture or fabric? Some kids are really sensitive about the way an article of clothing feels against their skin, and they won't wear certain things. By knowing what they prefer, what type of fabric they feel most comfortable in, this can help you save money too, so that you don't buy things that they end up just not wearing. Tip number 4 is to know your minimum quantities. What is the minimum number of pants, underwear, socks, tops, long sleeve tops, short sleeve tops that you need to have on hand for your kids? This can also be based on your laundry routine. If you only do laundry once a week, then you may need to have a few more pairs of pants than someone who does laundry every other day. Tip number 5 is to weed. Weed out those clothes. Check them for stains, holes, if they're really worn out, and things that are just uncomfortable that they don't like. Get them out of their closet they're just sitting there taking up space. Either hand them down if they're in good enough condition, or donate them if they're not too bad. But if they're really stained up, then they probably will just have to be trashed. Or if you can turn them into rags and repurpose them, then that works too. If you're the one always doing the laundry, it's pretty easy to weed out their clothes. You know what they are constantly wearing and what you're washing over and over again. And the things that are hanging in the closet that you haven't seen them wear in months. So you can, if you have them involved, you can double check with them and say, hey, I never see you wear this. Do you want to keep this? And they'll probably be like, nah, I don't really like that shirt anymore. Or you can make that call if they're a little bit too young to make that decision. Tip number 6 is the container. The container is your limit. So whether you're just using a closet, you have a dresser, or you have some kind of system that has drawers in it to store and organize all their clothes, that is the limit. So whatever they decide to keep has to fit within that limit. We cannot go over it because there's just not space for it. That's why it's always good to pick your favorites first. Make sure that they get a premium spot, and then based on the space that you have, that's what you can keep. And your kids can't get mad at you because you're not the bad guy. Their closet is only just so big, right? Tip number 7 is, if you're unsure on some things, have an extra storage bin for those just in case items or those maybe items. If there's a few things that they want to hang on to for a season or a holiday that's coming up, or maybe they want to keep a dress for a special occasion, if they are going to go to some kind of event or a party over the summer or something, then sure, if you have the space for it and you have just a small container, you can keep a few of those extra items that you're unsure about, that they're hesitant on, and they're not quite ready to donate yet or to hand down. You can keep them in the bin, and then if that season or holiday or event passes and they forget or they don't use that item for the event, then it's safe to say that it can be donated and they didn't actually need to hang on to it in the first place. Tip number 8 is to have a donation basket in their closet. This makes it very easy for them to simply toss whatever they don't like or they've outgrown into the basket so that the process can be continued by them. If you have the room for it, you can have some kind of a small bin or a basket in their room or in their closet, and they can easily toss something in there if it's too small or they just don't want it anymore. Tip number 9 is to vertically fold their clothes. I know a lot of people do the no fold system to save time, but I just can't. My OCD will not let me do that. And my kids, it makes it stressful for my kids too. They do not like things just tossed in there. It really agitates them. So we have all their pants folded in their drawers, all their pajamas, all their sweaters, anything that's not hanging up is vertically folded. So they can easily see, because they like to pick out their own outfits, and I let them, have that freedom to decide what they want to wear. So if they're looking for something in particular, they can at a glance quickly see what they have. If they're looking for a certain shirt or pants, they can pick it out, because otherwise if it's just all stacked on top of each other, the drawers would be a mess and they would just rummage through trying to find what they're looking for, and then there would just be clothes everywhere. And then everything would be wrinkled and it would stress them out, and it would stress me out especially. And I started teaching them how to fold. I started first with pants because pants were easier. So I started teaching them a couple of years ago on how to fold their own clothes so they understood the process and it made sense to them why we were doing it, and so that they could help out with doing it as well. Tip number 10 is to shop as needed and to not go crazy and buy a ton of stuff ahead of time. Now, I do like to shop at the end of the seasons. I'll check the clearance section and see what they have that I can stock up on that's in the next size for the next year. But I only do this now for leggings, underwear, socks, basic essentials that they use. I no longer do this for jeans because their body shapes keep changing. My oldest daughter loves jeans, but my youngest daughter despises jeans, and she says they're uncomfortable and she will not wear them. So there's no point in me getting her jeans, even if I can buy them on sale. I would buy a ton of shirts because they were marked down to $3 or $2 on deep clearance, and I would buy cute outfits and things that I liked and I thought that they would like. But by the time next year came around, their tastes have changed. And they may not necessarily like what I like. And they're kind of like, thanks, Mom, but I don't really love it. So a lot of times I would overbuy, and then I would have a lot of things with tags on it still because they wouldn't love it. They wouldn't want to wear it. So now I just stock up on the basics, the essentials, things that I know they will use from year to year. I try to get more classic pieces and things that aren't too trendy because, kids, they change their mind all the time. So we just went to the children's consignment store, and I went with a list ahead of time knowing what we needed and what they didn't need for the summer after I went through all of their clothing so that I knew where the gaps were and what we were missing. So for my oldest daughter, she needed new jean shorts because she had outgrown all of hers. So we got this is a pair from Old Navy. We got for $4.50. This pair, $5.50. Those are a little much. These are super soft and comfy. $5.50. So these are perfect. These will last her all summer. So that's those. My youngest she had jean shorts, so she just needed black and pink, or her two other basic colors to mix and match. So we got these comfy cotton ones for $2.50. These super cute. I couldn't find any just plain pink ones, but these are kind of just summery. They're okay. They're gymboree. And then I got this other soft pair of, she doesn't like anything that's really too stiff. Those were $3.50. And then we did get a couple summer things. This cute little romper. This tank top my daughter loved. This is only $1.50. It looks brand new. And then just a nice, just solid black shirt from Justice. And then they picked out some pajamas to have for next year in bigger sizes because they like these big onesie things. So one of them is an owl, and then the other one is just cats because, obsessed. And these were $4.50 a piece. So I made sure that we went with a plan with just the things that we needed so that I wasn't just buying random, all willy-nilly. Okay, bonus tip number 11 is, this is more for the parents, for the moms. If you are having a hard time getting rid of the clothes because they are sentimental to you, save just your favorite pieces. They are not all special. I know it's hard, especially when they're babies, but their going home outfit and the first couple, special things that they wear, those things you can keep in your own memory bin. Those are special to you. That's what your memory bin is there for. There's a few things pick out that are special, but nothing is special if everything is special. And don't forget, if all of these extra clothes are sitting around and you're not planning on having any more kids, it really would be a blessing to another family, a young family that may be struggling and need help, that you could help them out by donating clothes so that the clothes get another life and get to be reused again. Okay, and my final bonus tip number 12 is to stop buying character clothing. I used to do this, totally guilty, depending on what my kids were into, especially when they were 2, 3, 4, and everything was trendy. Specific characters from specific shows, like Nickelodeon, Bubble Guppies. My daughter loved Bubble Guppies. Shimmer and Shine. My Little Pony, JoJo, anything like that. Within the next year, they've grown up and said, "Oh, Mom, that's too babyish. That's a baby show. I'm not wearing that shirt." But if it's something that's a classic style and design, they can wear it for multiple years. And well, maybe it's just my kids, but they don't really grow very much. Especially if it's a larger size. So if they're like 5 years old and I buy them a size 6, you can usually wear it when they're 5, 6, and 7. At least that's how it goes for my kids until they finally start to grow. So now I go for more classic colors, styles, floral patterns, or just simple designs that you can't go wrong with, that they can't outgrow, because you spend a lot of money on them, because usually the licensed character shirts cost more, right? And then they only wear them for a season of time and they're on to the next thing. That will save a lot of money and a lot of waste as well. If you have some tips that have worked for you in the past, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your ideas. If this video was helpful to you in any way, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.